Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about the beauty of working for a temp agency when you are a brand new medical coder. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue, I'm a medical coder. Okay, so I always tell you guys when you're a brand new medical coder, apply with a temp agency. And how you can find temp agencies in your area is by simply doing a Google search for temporary agencies for medical personnel, or you can put for medical professionals, right? Temporary agency for medical professionals. And you'll see the whole list pop up for your local area. Now, the reason that I recommend getting registered and getting yourself known with a temp agency is because their business is to get you a job. Now, it may not be in medical coding sometimes, and sometimes it will, but sometimes it may just be for a alternative position, like a billing position, or maybe like a prior authorizations, or maybe a release of information, something along those lines, or medical records, something that will get you in and get you noticed and get you around so that you can introduce yourselves to the people. Now, we want to get into a facility, right? That is the whole goal, is to be able to get in. But a lot of times people discount working for a temporary agency. It is great. You have a strong advocate for you to get a job, because if you're working, the temp agency is making money. If they're making money, then they're happy. Now, it may not be the most glamorous place that you would want to start out at, but trust me, you can't go wrong. And the thing with temp agencies is you can tell them when you are available. So if you only want to work on the weekends, you can say, hey, I got my certification and I'm really only available on the weekends, which, I mean, it's give or take, okay, guys? But I'm only available on the weekends, or I'm only available on Thursdays and Fridays during the day. Can you help me to find a job? And, they're going to do the best that they can. I'm only available for part-time work. Again, they're going to do the best they can. They get all kinds of requests at the temp agency. So if they know that you are willing to take on anything or take on any assignment, they're going to try to help you out. Now, they will tell you, hey, sometimes different temp agencies have different rules. And sometimes they will say, give us a call in the morning if you are available to work during the day or today. If you're available to work today, let us know. Call in at a certain time, or maybe call in the day before. So if they get a last minute assignment, they can call you up and say, hey, can you come in? And you'd be like, yes, and off you go. So that's what's so great about working for a temp agency, is because they're there to help you, and they know that you are just temporary. And while the assignments may not always be long, or they may not always be so frequent, if you're starting to get these maybe week-long assignments for a medical coder position, or maybe a month-long assignment for being a medical coder. My first assignment was for 3 months, and that assignment literally led me to my next assignment, where I was at for another 8 months, and that was before I was able to find my medical coding home on my own. Had I continued to dismiss going to the temp agency and not go at all, I would have missed out on a wonderful opportunity that I did. My very first job was because of a temp agency, and it was at the Cancer Therapy Research Center. And I was able to learn about neoplasm coding. And that was an awesome experience. And it did teach me a lot. I worked from a book. I did not use a computer, but I did learn a lot about evaluation and management, like hands-on. And I did learn a lot about, of course, neoplasm coding. And so it's awesome, because when you're on these assignments, you're picking up those additional skills. I was able to also say that I had hands-on with the evaluation and management. I was able to say that I had hands-on with minor procedures, because that was what they did. And so those are the things that you can add. Even if you're spending a couple of days at a facility and they use Epic, and you're using Epic for whatever reason, you're able to put that on your resume. That's going to be a lot more than somebody who doesn't have perhaps just Epic or CERN or anybody like that. I'm just giving Epic as an example. It's not something that you have to go run out and try to get, but it is nice when you do have some kind of electronic record experience on your resume. So Again, you don't need it, so don't think about it. But if it's there, it's awesome that you have that experience to add. So that is something that, getting involved with them, they can really put you on any kind of assignment. And I think that it's awesome. Like I said, there was a lot of freedom to working for a temp agency. And if you get put on an assignment and you don't like it there, it doesn't work out for you, that's okay. All you have to do is tell them, hey, I didn't like where I was working, and can I just be put in for another assignment? And they will be okay with that, okay? Or maybe the chemistry isn't quite there and the employer says, hey, can you send somebody else? No hard feelings. We're all adults, okay, guys? So sometimes you win some, you lose some. And it's better that the people find out and like you, the coder, finds out that you don't like a place rather than staying there and investing all of your time. But yeah, that is a time to work for a temp agency. If you have like oddball hours that you're available, then you can let them know, hey, I'm available these oddball hours, but I'm here. I'm here and I'm willing to accept assignments. That's always just an alternative. It's an alternative to working. And besides, if you're not working right now and you say, well, Blue, I really need a job, isn't it better to get some money coming in than no money coming in at all? And so you may not always get remote coding on your first job. A lot of people will tell me, well, Blue, I got into this because I want to be a remote medical coder. Even people who get hired on as remote, they still sometimes have to get trained in the facility for a while too. So that is something to think about. But the whole time you're sitting around waiting, you could be applying with a temp agency and getting assignments through them. And even if it's not, like I said, for medical coding, perhaps it's just a prior authorization position or maybe a release of information. Release of information, you qualify because you were trained in HIPAA, and that is very important to people who do release of information. And again, that is something that it's an alternative position. You will be around people who will be doing the hiring, right? Because that is it's just it's for the patient information department. So that is something that you need to think about when you're, getting into these assignments. Not everything is going to be the most glamorous thing right away. Sometimes you have to work those temp agency assignments. I liked working for the temp agency that I worked for. They were so awesome. And we got paid every week, which was really nice. We were able to say, okay, yeah, we would get our checks direct deposit every week, and we worked 1 week and we get paid. And so it's like, okay, cool, so that was nice. It was really nice to be able to get that. And it was a really good start to my career in medical coding. So I will always recommend, if you're a brand new graduate, if you haven't gotten your certification yet, or even if you have your certification, go ahead and apply and just tell them, hey, I'm available maybe for part-time work. I'm available for this or that, and if they can find something that can accommodate you, they'll do it. Because again, they're going to be very strong advocates for you to get a job. And don't dismiss working for a temp agency because it's not what you want. I hear that a lot from people who say, well, that's not really what I want. You're not going to be able to get what you want right away. Especially in medical coding, sometimes we have to take a few steps back. And keep in mind, there are some people who don't start off in their medical coding careers as a medical coder. Sometimes they have to work in billing or in prior authorizations or even in risk adjustment before they're able to get into full-on medical coding. Now, if you're able to get a risk adjustment coding job, that's great. But keep in mind, there are some employers who do not consider risk adjustment as coding experience. Even though you are technically coding, you are only coding the diagnosis coding. So I tell people, brand new people, that when you're starting out, it's a good place to start at, obviously, because then it's kind of getting you familiar with everything, but it's not a place to grow roots. When you are working with risk adjustment, it can stunt your growth if you are there too long. Now, it can help you to develop with your pathophysiology and your anatomy and all that other process, right? Because you have to kind of know all of these things when you are coding that stuff. It's very important to have a strong pathophysiology background. Yes, when you're working in risk adjustment. But when you're doing that, just make sure that you are getting your experience for a time and you're still continuing to apply so that you can move on and take that experience with you. Okay, guys? You don't want to get stuck and pigeonholed into one type of coding. You want to be able to expand your wings and be able to go into different places. But again, taking the time to get that experience is great. Working with a temp agency can lead you to many, many different opportunities if you allow it. Okay, guys. Sometimes we think we know, right? And when we hear things that are not the norm, I'm not going to say things that are the norm. I have nothing to sell you guys other than I'm trying to help you all. So again, it's not a waste of time if you apply with a temp agency, get yourself registered with them, and let them know what your situation is. If you start putting up too many demands, though, I will caution you that will make you look not available, okay? So be willing to go to places. Sometimes people will say, well, no, Blue, I want to work remote. If you've never been a medical coder, you do need to spend time around other medical coders. It's only going to be easier for you. I'm trying to help you guys out because it's not as easy as you think. These book coding and real world coding are two different things. And just that's something to keep in mind, because in the real world, oh yeah, you get with these doctors, boy, I'll tell you what, they'll give you a run for your money sometimes, where they're going to do it their way. And then you got to work with them and say, hey, we're a team, If you don't have books, that's okay. Sometimes people will worry about that. You just do the best you can with what you got, okay? Sometimes, again, working at a place, they'll probably give you access to an encoder, or maybe they'll have a set of books there as well. So not something to be too overly concerned about, just something to be aware of. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. But get registered with a temp agency. Take a chance, because that's how a lot of people get their start. All right. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for joining me. Like, subscribe, share, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.